Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show. We are presented, as always, by Compliment. And I just realized my name says Doug Hay, which is not that surprising amidst some technical difficulties this morning. So I'm fixing that now. Maybe the big Google takedown is affecting the internet, the whole internet. I don't know, or who knows what it could be. But anyway, that all started, I think, today or yesterday. Google antitrust lawsuit, plus iPhone release happening today. So all kinds of tech news today. Who knew this was such a cutting edge technology show? All right, adding Doug into Instagram, we'll find out how his weekend at the lake went, or at least weekend partially at the lake went. I watched a lot of kids sports, and that was really all I did, and cooked a lot of beans, so that was nice. All right, Doug's been at it. Doug, how are we doing?
Matt, how's it going? So the YouTube delay is about 3 seconds after the Instagram.
Okay, that's all right. Are you able to plug into the computer?
Yep. So I will just listen on Instagram hopefully it doesn't screw everything up. Hey, happy Tech Tuesday, I guess. All the tech news.
Yes, I think it is that. Speaking of tech issues, you're going to listen on Instagram and be 3 seconds behind?
Ahead. I think the Instagram is live.
Okay. Can you plug into your computer so that you get the other audio? Or is that not a possibility?
Yeah. I can listen to that instead.
Okay. That might be better than being behind.
Okay.
Got to have the timing. Comedic timing's got to be perfect. 3 seconds would be a substantial difference. All right. Okay. So that better?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. You tell me. It might be harder, actually.
Yeah, I have no idea. We'll see. Okay, I could always switch to Instagram myself for audio if needed. Okay, so let's see. You went to the lake for something, some kind of bounce pads or something. What is that right? Blob.
No, not quite. we ended up getting rained out, unfortunately. So we didn't. Yes, the plan was to have a big lake day at a summer camp. Really, it's a summer camp day more than a lake day. With one of those blobs and the big shoot slide thing. But we're going to do it this weekend instead. We were able to reschedule.
Okay, good. Weather looking good for this weekend, even though we're getting more into the fall.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope so.
Okay.
Because we've done it a few times now, and it's like just super fun.
Yeah. All right. I'm sure. Sounds like fun. Okay.
I don't think this is gonna work, Matt.
No, what? It's not working. So okay, Mr. Jeffrey saying, "Wait, isn't YouTube behind?" Okay. Last thing we can try is let's both listen on Instagram, and then wouldn't that fix it as long as Instagram's working?
Yeah, I guess so. I can't get chat to load, so maybe it's my internet, even though it says I'm getting full green.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting the chats. I see that. Why don't we both listen to Instagram and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Sounds good. You just tell me if the chats are
out of control here. Okay. All right. Switching audio. Now we're on Instagram. Right. Sorry, everyone, for the
tech issues are absolutely the worst. They're my least favorite part about this show.
Yeah, they are. A lot of them are on your end, Doug. I think you need to get your internet fixed or repaired.
I upgraded the internet.
Yeah, you did. You're right. Spectrum, right? Spectrum also involved in technology cases and things. You aware of that?
No. I know about the Google thing, but what's the Spectrum thing?
Somehow they're owned, or I don't know. They're part of the Disney ABC family, or maybe they're against them. But they were at the U.S. Open this weekend or week, where one of the players was in the hotel trying to watch the opponent game to do some scouting. Mm-hmm. It was blacked out somehow by Spectrum, who owned it. Didn't allow that to be shown. So there's some sort of thing where the people are marking territory in the cable TV world. Yeah, so,
I see.
Anyway, so there's Spectrum. So they're preoccupied. Perhaps they don't care that much about Doug Hay's internet. Probably today might not be the day to call support and ask to speak to the CEO.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So anyway, we'll we'll see what happens. We'll carry on. It seems like at least on Instagram, this will work. I don't know what the Google or the YouTube experience is if you're watching that way. Hopefully, at least, even though it's behind or whatever, maybe it'll at least be consistently behind with Doug and myself, so that you won't notice any difference. But who knows? But we'll just see what happens. Okay, so speaking of U.S. Open, Novak Djokovic won. I don't know what number that is he won, but I think he's the best player in the world now, most people think. And that's cool. Always got to mention that because he eats a plant-based diet. I think he won't call it vegan. He just doesn't want to be saddled with that label. And I do understand why. I get where he's coming from with that. I think he probably just doesn't want vegan police or the criticism from the anti-vegans. Probably easier just to not have a label, whatever way you eat. But yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then on the women's side, I heard 19-year-old maybe first one since Serena won. Coco Gauff, is that her last name? Yeah, I didn't watch any of it, men's or women's, but
neither did I.
But that seemed like kind of a cool story. And as far as I know, she's not vegan. She is from Atlanta, born in Atlanta, so maybe she is a slutty vegan
fan. You never know.
You never know. I did see there was a list today. Actually, I didn't put it in the show almost, but a list of like 11 celebrities who are slutty vegan fans. So I didn't scan it even to the bottom, so I don't know if she was on there, but I doubt it. Unlikely.
All right.
Anyway, seems like a big deal.
The sluts love that slut sauce,
They do. Yeah, the slut dust, I guess. If they go to Target,
slut dust, that's what it's called, yeah.
I think there's slut sauce too. I just don't think you can buy that at Target. All right. Also, NFL started this weekend, and I didn't watch it much. I watched a little bit of Monday night last night, enough to see Aaron Rodgers get hurt, and then I kind of tuned out. But I honestly didn't even look up the Chicago Bears now that we've lost our vegan athlete there, Justin Fields. I didn't even look up what they did. Now I see that they won 23-17 over the Titans. Good. So good pescatarian
fish
quarterback. Must have been. Yeah. I don't think NFL is going to be the exciting thing every
yeah. So I was bummed about Aaron Rodgers. Bummed for the Jet fans.
Yeah,
you never want somebody to get injured, especially like game 1, 3 minutes into the game or whatever it was.
Right. And I don't know if he's relevant anymore. That shows you how much I follow the NFL. He's been relevant for a long time, but I heard or read somewhere that on Monday Night Football was his debut with the Jets, and that was enough for me to remember to turn it on because I at least know who he is, and So anyway, that was disappointing that he got hurt. But whatever, they won. That was good. Little 9/11 ceremony thing at the beginning. So there you go. Okay, so I as I said, made a bunch of beans, Rancho Gordo kind of recipes, and did some cooking. Haven't really meal planned like I've been intending, but I did kind of. I'm trying to come up with a meal system because I'm just tired of us. Now that we're in school and soccer season, everything just gets so hectic, and we have basically 0 nights home where everyone's together, and it feels like every night we are scrambling to figure out dinner because there's just not really time to do it. So I'm trying to put together some sort of system. It's like we eat, a soup on Mondays, and we eat tacos on Tuesday. Right?
All right.
And we eat some kind of pasta thing on Thursday. So I was trying to do that. I didn't get that far, but I did jot down about 5 recipes that I wanted to get from Rancho Gordo. Saved a bunch of money at the grocery store. That was good, buying all those bean recipes. So I don't know. That's one good thing. But haven't succeeded in any meal planning yet. But I do feel like I did a good job by cooking some stuff and shopping for some stuff. So I feel like we're on track for the week, and should be a good one.
That's good. We are on our 3rd grocery trip in 3 days. So that's not good. That is just my least favorite thing in the whole world is having to keep going back to the grocery store. But but I ended up buying a bunch of stuff at the market this weekend for pesto. Just bought like an enormous amount of basil. And so had to head back to the grocery store before it goes bad to get everything to make a big batch of pesto. So
yeah, good. We've got a bunch of pesto that we made and froze before we went away for some of the summer. And a good use for that we've realized is at Trader Joe's they have these vegan ravioli that are filled. One of them's filled with like cashew cheese and spinach. The other one is lentil bolognese kind of sauce. And we always make these bean dishes. My son Holden doesn't really like eating beans. He doesn't like the texture of beans. So we've always got to make him an alternate thing. And those are a really good alternate for him. So that's what we were using pesto on recently is his pastas. But anyway, it's a good Trader Joe's reco. If you're heading over there, pick up some of those. Okay, good. Well, let's see. We have what you got anything else, Doug, or should I get into our weather report?
Yeah, I'll save it for tomorrow. Let's get into the weather report.
Okay, let's do that.
We're already pretty late.
We are late. We started late and had a slow start, so let's just get going. All right, here we go. September 12th, Tuesday. Fall's here, basically. Big news in some people's world, maybe. Muscle milk, which forever has been the, post-workout. I didn't really had it. I think it kind of became popular after I was already vegan. I think it existed before, but I didn't really know it. Anyway, they have finally, they're introducing 2 plant-based protein drinks, finally. They are owned by PepsiCo, so kind of cool that a big company like that is caring about plant-based. But they're going to make the caramel vanilla and the chocolate flavors, and they're going to have up to 30 grams of plant-based protein. That's what you get in a quarter cup plus a half of a quarter cup in complement protein, which I had this morning, actually, in a little protein drink. But you will get all the essential amino acids just like you do in complement protein. So I'm realizing now that I put this in the report that it's a competitive product with our sponsors, complement protein products. I'm having to compare and defend on the fly here. Anyway, I think a lot of people just use, I remember some vegans saying that sounds so gross, muscle milk. It's not interested. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they think now that there's a plant-based version of it, if people will go for this. But hey, I think it's good. They cited a lot of increase in plant-based protein demand. Apparently, milk consumption has been declining since the 70s, which I didn't realize. So, yeah, I guess this is good. I don't know.
I think it's a good thing. I think I have never been attracted to muscle milk for a variety of reasons, of course, because it's not vegan, and don't think that I would see it and be like, oh yeah, I got to try that. So it's not something that I think I would be particularly into. But if it's alongside the milk version and there's people who just decide to purchase that one instead or try it out, it also kind of puts in people who buy muscle milk are typically people who care about their muscles, right? So if you can start thinking that you could build your muscles on plant-based foods, that seems like a really big win. So I'm sure it's filled with kind of junk ingredients and not that healthy for you, but I think it's great. I'm good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I wondered if you see this on the shelf, because I think muscle milk is one of the products that people often do go to the store to buy on the shelf. It's not just order a big tub of it. People do that, I'm sure, but you see it at the gyms, you see it at the grocery store. And so it'll be interesting, if the other ones also contain 30 grams of protein, which I assume they do, I don't know for sure. And if you saw the two things right next to each other, it just might inform a lot of people who have missed the message that you can get the same amount of protein from plant-based sources. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if people will kind of sense a quality difference, and they'll think oh, that might not, build my muscles as much as the whey protein does. I don't know if there will be that perception, but I think they also mentioned health reasons. People are just moving towards plant-based foods. They like them for health. So perhaps people will kind of sense, maybe they know their muscle milk isn't all that healthy for them, and they think this might be a better way to do it, a plant-based way.
Yeah, just kind of secretly makes you think that it's healthier for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, right. All right, up next, minor win, I think, in South Africa in the plant-based world for the labeling controversy, which we see all the time, different countries, different states. Fry family food, that people just call it Fries. I guess it's a big food brand in South Africa. At least the article tells me that. And they didn't appeal on, their stuff was supposedly in contravention of regulation R.1283. And they appealed that. They won. So it has been lifted, this this ban or whatever it was on their products being labeled that way. And Pro-Veg South Africa director Donovan Will says if a consumer is looking for a vegetarian burger that mimics a chicken burger, they're going to be very confused if the manufacturers of these products can't call a product like this exactly what it is, a chicken-style veggie burger. And I think that's been our stance this whole time, that you can call it something else, but that doesn't have that name in it, but then people really aren't going to know what it is. So this is the least confusing thing possible, is to, compare it to the animal product that it's like, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, up next, more vegan meat news. Vegan pork brand La Vie has put out their first plant-based ham. They make bacon and things like that. I think they're always associated with the different Whoppers and fast food things. They always get their name in there somehow. over in Europe. So I'm surprised they haven't put out a ham yet, but they have. Has mostly clean ingredient list, 7 ingredients only, including some natural flavorings, but otherwise things that pea protein, soy protein, radish juice concentrate. So I'd like to try this. I've had a few vegan hams. One from, I think, Sweet Earth Foods that I particularly like. I don't really know what's in that one, but yeah, it's kind of cool. At the same time, they've launched a new crowdfunding campaign, so they're doing that. They've also launching a virtual restaurant, which I didn't know what that meant, but sounds like they'll just have delivery from the restaurant. So you can get delivery, burgers, fries, grilled cheese, all with vegan bacon on them, across Paris before rolling out all over Europe. So it's a restaurant, but you can only get it delivered. You can't go there and eat. And finally, a week ago, one more thing about La Vie, who's just making moves.
Yeah, go for it.
They announced a partnership with UK supermarket Sainsbury's to offer a vegan BLT as part of their lunchtime meal deal. So that sounds kind of like Publix and Unreal Deli in the US, which I have been enjoying myself. Apparently, during this past few months, they've sold 2.5 million products. 2.5 million in 18 months, equivalent to one product sold every 12 seconds. Which I would have been shocked if you told me Impossible or Beyond sold that much less La Vie. So I don't know if that's counting the fast food purchases somehow in there. I have no idea, but it's amazing and good for them.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So is this like a slicing ham? Like you get like a big ham, kind of like the loaf?
I kind of assumed it would just be like a deli meat already sliced thing in a package like tofu.
Okay. Like I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It says it is sliced using a transchuce, and I don't know what that is, but
I could be into that.
Yeah. I think vegan ham has potential. Like whenever I can find vegan ham, I'm usually pretty excited to get it. Everybody makes the vegan turkey, including Tofurkey, smoked or roasted, and it just kind of tastes like nothing, which is actually what regular deli turkey meat used to taste like to me. It's pretty neutral. Ham has an actual flavor, so it's good for cooking and things when starting an Italian meal with it or something with some onions in there. So I'm always getting ham when I can find a good vegan ham.
Cool.
All right, moving on. Cultivated meat world. This one's kind of interesting. A group of leading Islamic scholars has declared that cultivated meat can be halal, provided it meets specific production criteria. A bunch of these smart people who I guess know all about the Islamic, the Quran. I don't know. Sorry, don't mean any disrespect. I just don't really know what other books there are. Anyway, they did that. They established a set of stringent criteria, and that in order to meet this certification. So not just any cultivated meat is this, and good meats, chicken cells, and production processes, which are currently working and selling in Singapore and the U.S., they would fall short of meeting these standards. The standards would require that the cell line be from an animal that's permissible to eat, like a cow or a chicken. I don't know what animals wouldn't be halal. I don't know if pork is. I'm guessing not. And then the nutrients fed to the cells also need to be permissible to eat in accordance with Islamic law. So I don't know what it would be about good meat.
Yeah, I wonder what good meat is doing wrong.
Right, because they're just making chicken right now. So you would think the starter cells come from the chicken. I'd be surprised if anything but chicken or cow cells are used in any other part of this. So very confusing, and I'd like to know what that is. I think I need some answers now. Plant-based Morning Show demands answers.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's cool though. I mean, right?
It is cool. Yeah. And by the way, they said that they were committed. Good Meat said they're committed to aligning their practices with the conditions delineated by the Sharia scholars to obtain halal certification for their product. So that's kind of cool that they are from the get-go, with everything else they got to deal with and figure out right now in the next few months, that's also one of their priorities. Good for them. All right. And still two to go here. Switzerland's Planted, which is a brand that I don't know, a pulled meat range. They have described themselves as Europe's leading food tech scale-up, and they've partnered with vegan football club Forest Green Rovers. We've heard about them a little bit on the show. Someone who listened actually lived near there, I think, and would often go to their matches. They call themselves, FIFA calls them the greenest team in the world. They're carbon neutral. They became fully vegan in 2015, and they're reportedly the only football club to have the registered vegan trademark. And finally, in very much non-vegan news, JM Smucker, the jelly company, they've announced that they are buying Hostess brands for $5.6 billion. Hostess, of course, makes Twinkies.
Wow.
I know, that's so much money. They make Twinkies. They also make Ho-Hos and Ding Dongs, if those were your particular brand of after-school treat or lunchtime treat. I don't remember what Ding Dongs were. Ho-Hos, I think, were the chocolate roll-up things, right? Where the cake was rolled up.
That's right.
So what are Ding Dongs?
Oh, Ding Dongs are chocolate circles with cream filling.
Ah, okay. I would have
Ho-Hos.
I thought that was like oatmeal cream pie, but chocolate.
No, it's like totally encapsulated with chocolate, but close.
Oh, okay, right. Gotcha.
Cream pies were speaking of
yeah, they were pretty good.
Oatmeal cream pies and honey buns.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
What was the chocolate cake version of oatmeal cream pies and chocolate filling? Do you remember that?
No.
I'm looking it up. Fudge rounds. I did that more often than I did oatmeal cream pies. Both of them had too much creamy filling for my taste. I could have always done with more bread or more cake, less cream.
Yeah.
But they were good. I did like those.
So you're probably not a double stuffed Oreo guy either.
No, I'm not a double stuffed Oreo guy. I'm a regular stuff. I think always maybe a 1.5 stuff would be the perfect amount.
Oh, so more than just regular stuff.
Yeah. I always liked it a little bit more than the regular. I think these days I'm probably just happy with the single stuff.
What about the
especially once
thin?
you know
Have you seen the thin?
I have seen that they exist. I have not ever tried them. Not even been that interested in trying them. I'm fine with one.
Yeah.
Fine with a single amount, normal amount of stuffing.
Just the traditional Oreo. All right.
Apparently, I saw this article a couple weeks ago. Jared Leto, Veg News had an article about Jared Leto's secret vegan Oreo hack, and it was sort of billed as you won't believe his secret hack or whatever it was. And he basically took double stuffed Oreos, removed one side from each, and put them together, giving you basically a quadruple stuffed Oreo, best I could discern.
Oh, I see.
Which I mean, it doesn't sound good at all. It just sounds like way too much of that creamy stuff. So I don't.
It also,
I don't know
that's funny.
Yeah, it is. So there you go. Big money.
Are you like a peanut butter Oreo or like a birthday cake Oreo?
I never got into any of those. Halloween Oreos, I don't touch them. I don't get any of that. I would, and we don't even get regular Oreos. But if I had them, if we get them on Halloween, a little 4-pack or something, I will definitely enjoy that.
Are you a Numino instead of an Oreo? Like, if you're gonna buy something like that, you going straight Oreo?
We would just get straight Oreos. Yeah, there was a time when I bought Numinos for a little while, but then I realized they're the same thing.
Yeah, and twice as expensive. Yeah.
Or a Hydrox. You ever get a Hydrox?
Oh, I don't think I have. Well, I don't even know what that is.
That was growing up as a kid. That was the off-brand Oreo.
Okay.
And it wasn't like pretending to be healthy or anything like Newman's is. They were just called Hydrox. Yeah, and I don't know. Oreos were always a little bit better than the imitators, in my opinion.
Funny.
Or for anyone who doesn't know, Oreos are vegan. That's I hope that is known by everybody. So apparently
Eliza, I'm sorry, not Eliza. Chloe, my almost 3-year-old, has really started to grasp that certain foods are vegan and other foods are not vegan. And so now, all she does is every time we eat something, even if we serve it to her, she's like, "This vegan, Daddy?" And it's like, but it's cool. It's like started all these conversations. And the other day, she we were at somebody's house and they had the fish, goldfish, and she went and grabbed the bag and brought it over to me, and she was like, "This vegan, Daddy?" I was like, "No, it's not vegan." She's like, "Okay," and she went and put it back. And I was like, "Wow, that's good." Yeah, I didn't say anything. I mean, I didn't say she couldn't have it or anything.
Right. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Yeah, we've been going through some stuff with my daughter. She is starting to develop quite a sweet tooth, and she had none when she was growing up, when she was younger. And gradually just got introduced to cakes and just took a liking to them. She bakes all the time now, which is fun. And I can't ever say no to her baking when she makes stuff that otherwise I wouldn't be eating. Vegan, of course, but just, sugar cake stuff. So anyway, she's been a little bit complaining recently about so many foods being off limits. Not because they're not vegan, but the other day I was like, no more pretzels. Nobody's buying pretzels anymore because the kids are eating too many pretzels. I was like, we just don't need that in our house. We don't need this salty white flour thing and that people just get addicted to. But apparently that was a little bit too much of a hard line stance. So I don't know.
So the pretzels are back.
Well, they're not yet, but I think they're going to be back in some sort of moderation plan.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. It's hard to deal with. As I've become more conscious of ultra processed foods and things that I used to think were pretty harmless, and I'm like, we just don't need habitual pretzel consumption. It's just, I mean, I don't know. It's fine. There's certainly many worse things. And if it's once a week or something like that, it's fine. But like they start going into school lunches and then suddenly they're being eaten twice a day. So I don't know. We're dealing with that now. I got to figure out the best way to moderate those healthy foods or sorry, unhealthy foods without banning them. Because you don't want to create a big vengeance or whatever. Yeah. So
we keep pretzels in our house.
Yeah.
They usually don't get like, they don't, I mean, it's not like we're pounding through them, but they're around. Right. Pretzels and hummus, that kind of stuff. Is a semi-regular snack in our house.
More than corn chips?
For the kids, yes. The kids, okay. Corn chips, for corn chips,
Daddy's corn chips.
It's rare that I will choose a pretzel over a corn chip.
Are Daddy's corn chips off limits to the children?
Yeah, these are Daddy's corn chips. You do not touch Daddy's corn chips. No. They enjoy a corn chip, but I don't know, not as much as I do. Right. They just don't appreciate the crunch, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Good. All right. Let's get to our normal content here. I haven't looked at the audience comments at all because we haven't been on YouTube. Sorry about that, everyone.
I don't know if I'm seeing them. I'm looking on YouTube, and either no one's commenting or I'm not being able to see them.
Just a little bit, not too much. I think it's just a weird day. Mr. Jeffrey says, if these laws pass, would they have to stop calling it imitation crab? And that's a good question, right? That's a perfect example. I think imitation crab isn't a plant-based food, but exactly, they're saying it's like that. And what else are you going to call it? Like seafood product that's not very describable, except that it's like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So yeah, good question. I would think they would. I would think it's not just an anti-plant-based thing, unless the same people that control the seafood stuff in imitation crab also control the crabs, and then nobody will care. So who knows? Okay, so getting to show content today. We got 2 today. I think we'll do both. I don't know. You want to do this ad thing, Doug, or should we wait? Let's wait till YouTube's back tomorrow, or till we're on YouTube to try to play a video thing. Good idea?
Yeah. Let's do that because I think we should show the video.
Yeah. All right, so we'll get to that one tomorrow. And the other one we have today is from greenqueen.com.hk, which is a good site. I usually like their articles a lot. This one says, headline, meat dishes dominate recipe sections of mainstream media, from New York Times to BBC and The Guardian new report. All right, so they say is that it's a new report. Bless you, Doug. You all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Good. Fall allergies, right?
I guess so. Don't know. Either that or week 2 of school. And now finally
might be that.
Got the bugs.
All right. There might not be a show tomorrow. So that vegan ad maybe another later next week. Okay. Anyway, so the new reports by the Better Food Foundation and Sentient Media or Sentient Media. I don't know how you prefer to say that word. I think either one is acceptable. Which right away tips me off. Says, okay, this report's going to be slanted to in the vegan direction. So they looked at 8 news outlets, 4 each in the UK and the US, and what they found was that 5 of the 8 have recipe sections dominated by meat-based dishes. Here's the interesting thing. And then they suggested 5 actions to help those newspapers do better. Their research is titled Recipe for Success. And when they chose these 8 outlets, they deemed them as having responsible climate reporting, i.e. in keeping with scientific consensus. So I guess that means they're not hiding or denying the climate change issue. So, I guess then they don't really say this, but the implication then is that therefore they have an obligation to print plant-based recipes that most people would agree are better for the climate than meat-based recipes by a lot. And there's, some little argument about that, but I don't think they're very good. Their argument's like, well, the soy is very bad for the climate. But of course, as we see, we can debunk that by saying the animals eat the soy. Anyway, they looked at 100 recipes from each outlet, or at least 100, to figure out the ratio. And what they found was that among U.S. outlets, 53.6% of recipes were meat-based, with only 20.2% being vegan. New York Times had the highest percentage of omnivorous at 64, but the vegan recipes there almost 20% outnumbered vegetarian ones. So they go on, and most of the newspapers are kind of in that range. There is some discrepancy between the different papers, but that's not really all that interesting to me. The interesting part of this to me is that,
well, hold on before you move on from that, the discrepancy. The one part that is interesting to me is that the Washington Post, it looks like, is like, I don't know, 40%, 42% omnivorous. The rest of it is vegan or vegetarian.
So the majority, more than half, are vegan or vegetarian, and I guess that would be plant-based. I don't know. They use the term plant-based here too, and I'm not sure what that means for them. Yeah, that one. That's maybe the only one. No, the Guardian as well also has slightly majority the vegan and vegetarian. But for the most part, omnivorous is larger than vegetarian or vegan. But I suppose we could lump those together, vegetarian and vegan, and say they're on the same team. So the striking part to me here is that someone's complaining about 20% of the recipes in a newspaper being vegan.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw this stat from the Gallup poll 2 weeks ago or so, showing that 1% of the United States is vegan now, down from 3% in 2019, I think. I think 5 or 6% vegetarian. So this is way out of line with that, and in our favor.
Right.
I don't know what there's to complain about. Nor do I think that the newspapers have an obligation to, like, just because they report on the climate news as scientists believe it is, in kind of the language of this article, that doesn't mean they need to, like, start making that change. I mean, I guess we could ask them to. We could hope that they do. We could read the ones that do. But I don't think they're doing anything wrong as trying to sell newspapers here, trying to sell stuff that appeals to people. So I don't know. I mean, the fact that 20% of people are vegan doesn't mean it's not quite fair to compare that to 1% of people being vegan, because omnivores can eat vegan recipes, right? And not every recipe here, probably a main course. Maybe there's a vegetable recipe that's a side. So certainly the omnivorous people could use some vegan recipes. So that'd be a good argument for having more than 1% of your recipes be vegan. But still, the point for me is, like, what the audience wants. And if you look at the audience, if almost everybody isn't vegan, why are you going to put 30, 40% or more of your recipes vegan? I don't know. That would be an interesting strategy, but I wouldn't expect anyone to do that.
Yeah. So I am 100% with you. I read this and thought, wow, this is actually my reaction. My response was the exact opposite of the response of this article, right, which was saying that we need more. And to me, it was like, wow, this is pretty good. You got to, the only reason the New York Times or the Washington Post is posting recipes at all is to get clicks and eyeballs, right? I mean, to get people to read the paper or go to the website and go back to the website, and to sell subscriptions, right? Like, this isn't news, and it's not even reporting on restaurants and things like that, right? Like, it's literally just to get people to onto their website. Right. And so for them to have this many vegan and vegetarian options when people are probably more likely to be searching for omnivorous recipes, like, this is great, I think.
Yeah, right. I think so too. Before we move on to, like, other conclusions, I guess, they also point out that interestingly to me and surprising, in the UK, so the US media tends to feature fewer meat-based recipes than the UK does, while vegetarianism still trumps veganism in both countries. So that part's not that interesting. But the fact that we talk all the time about the interest in plant-based in Europe, at least based on the products that get released there and are available there in fast food and stores, many times more. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 times, I would say, is like the availability of plant-based foods over there in terms of package, meat substitutes, dairy substitutes, all that. So it seems weird that in the media it would be different. The recipes that show up, what people are actually cooking at home, is different, and I have no idea how to explain that at all. This is the BBC and not mainland Europe. I don't know if they looked at other papers that are from. No, it's all UK. So that's one difference. I don't know. I don't have any other explanation than that.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you 100%. I think this is actually a really good sign that mainstream news outlets are having so many vegan and vegetarian options.
Yeah. Okay. And then So Epicurious, I barely remember this. In 2021, Epicurious, big food website, foodie website, they announced they were cutting out beef from all their recipes. And I do remember that happening. I remember thinking that was a big moment that was happening. Some people were upset about it, of course. But for a food site to say we're not doing that meat anymore, that was a big deal. Apparently, there have been follow-up studies done, and it turned out that they have published 61 beef recipes from their sister publication Bon Appetit, both owned by Condé Nast, but they didn't write any new recipes. And I guess when they published them, they just put that they were republished from there. I mean, how many recipes? Epicurious must put 60 recipes a day up. I don't know how many, but a site like that, I mean, you would imagine more than a dozen or two per day.
Yeah.
Who cares if they put 60? Like, I want to be like, I know maybe we're not going to be happy till the world is vegan, but can we just stop complaining about stuff like this? Like the whole media study thing and this, I mean, I don't know. I just think there's a bad reputation, and this kind of stuff to me is a part of the reason why. Like, nothing's good enough. We're just, and I guess that's what activism is. It's just we can't stop as long as animals are suffering. But I don't know. I feel like kind of giving some credit to people who have helped us out, acknowledging because then now you get scared to make this move with your company if you own a media company, right? Because now there's backlash if you don't do 100%. That thing, if you publish recipes from a sister site, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just too much complaining.
I agree. I'm with you.
Okay. What about Doug? So they published a 5-point plan. They said, here's their points. Maintain a 2-to-1 ratio for vegan to animal-based recipes. And this, by the way, I think is for people who want to be climate friendly in their recipe section, media outlets. List plant-based options first by default within search results. So I guess, yeah. So you're just sort of subtly making it so that people will choose them more often. Make editors' picks or seasonal recommendations plant-based by default. Swap out animal-based ingredients for plant-based ones in popular recipes to make them vegan by default. And add a climate score to each recipe based on the emissions intensity of the ingredients. The only suggestion I like there is the climate score one. That if that's transparent, assuming your readers believe your stance on climate and your scoring system, then no reason not to give more information like that to sort of, for those who care, push them in that direction. I just don't get, who's going to do all this other stuff. It's just, they're trying to run businesses. I don't know. It just seems kind of crazy to me.
Yep. Here's what I would add if you wanted to. Okay. If you wanted to be more climate friendly with the recipe section, would be to within each recipe, unless it's like a pork roast or something like that. But if you're baking something, or if you're using butter or cream or whatever, just have a little note that gives you the vegan substitute.
Yeah, right.
A little section that says how to veganize this recipe, and then swap this for that, swap this for that. Like that would be probably pretty easy to do, especially once you built the like kind of library of an egg equals this or whatever. And that would, I don't know, then pretty much anyone could look at any recipe and decide whether they want to make it vegan or not,
Yeah, I think that's great. I'd even go so far as to say you could put a little asterisk or something. Sorry, I think I paused for a second. You could put a little asterisk next to all the animal product recipe or ingredients, anywhere, all the recipes, and then have swaps from your little swaps library if you want. Still, that's me just giving more information. I don't know. Again, not that I have any problem at all with a recipe, being dedicated to 100% vegan. Sorry, a publication putting out 100% vegan recipes. That's great. I just think it's kind of crazy to ask mainstream media to start this. I just don't think anyone's going to listen, and I think sometimes these demands make us look a little silly. Doug, do you think media has an obligation to try to change people's behavior, or are they just there to report and sell papers?
Well, see, this is the problem with media, right? Is that it's become this place that it takes too many sides. It's too biased on either side, right? Like there's liberal media, there's progressive media, there's conservative media, and now like you can hear the same story and understand it completely differently depending on what news source you get it from. I think that there's room for commentary on every issue and room for people to have opinions, right? And for that to be published in a news site. But but our mainstream news outlets, the staples, New York Times, Washington Post, the AP, like they don't need to be taking stances as much. They, I think that they should be presenting the facts and then let people form their own opinion.
Yep. I'm with you. That's I think that is their job, and it's not their job to have sponsors only that are plant-based or whatever. I mean, it's just like, because this recipe thing falls outside of the news, like you said, it's just a weird area, but I think there's no obligation to do anything. So whatever you feel like keeps your paper going and earns you money, that's what you should put in your recipe section, in my opinion. So there you go. Okay.
And you can still highlight vegan recipes, right? Like or a vegan cookbook that comes out.
You should, right? Because certain amount of people like that. So that would help your paper for the most part.
That's news in some ways. And like, I love what's the kitchen the big, I don't know if it's BBC or
America's Test Kitchen.
America's Test Kitchen, yeah. Is that NPR? Who is that?
I don't know. It might be.
But they they have a whole vegan cookbook, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But they're not all vegan.
No, right. But they've sorted it out, and so, or they've separated it so that as a strategy, right? Because then the vegan people will want that, and everyone else will want the other one, and everyone else will want the vegan one. So
yeah, totally.
All right. So now media knows what to do with our advice here, along with those 5 pointers from the study.
Dale Stevens says PBS, America's Test Kitchen.
PBS, right. PBS is not the same as NPR. They're unrelated.
Unrelated.
Are they rivals?
No,
Bitter
one
rivals?
Is TV, one is TV and one is radio.
But what happens when they start publishing books and stuff?
Well, I mean, America's Test Kitchen goes on NPR all the time too. I say that. I think that
they're friends. Okay.
Public broadcasting.
Yeah.
Everybody's a good friend in public.
Yeah.
In public broadcasting.
Kumbaya. Okay. Yeah. Good. All right. Good. Well, that's our show. A little weird today with the technical difficulties, but worked out. And people said on YouTube it ended up being normal for them. So glad to hear that. Hopefully tomorrow we'll have internet issues sorted out and be back on track. We'll play this video for this vegan ad, which is interesting to say the least. Until then, enjoy your Tuesday. We will see you tomorrow.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Goodbye.